Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of The Messenger Presents a VGM Journey. And I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we just played into today's show is Tiki Shoppe from the game The Messenger Picnic Panic, and it was composed by Rainbowdragoneyes. 2019 is almost over, and probably by the time a lot of you guys are listening to this, it'll probably be 2020 already. Or even way after that, if you decided, hey, I'm from the far off year of 2056 and I'm listening to a show that was released and recorded in 2019. That's cool too. Not really much of top of the show business, so let's just get this party going and play another track. This time I'm going to play something from Streets of Rage. It's Dilapidated Town, and it was composed by Yuzo Koshiro. That track that we just played, that was Dilapidated Town from the game Streets of Rage, and it was composed by Yuzo Koshiro. Damn, you could never go wrong with Streets of Rage. It's probably, I would say, one of my most favorite Sega Genesis / Sega Mega Drive soundtracks I've ever listened to, and I know it's super popular, but sometimes the super popular stuff is super popular for a reason. And that it is so damn good, and that's why it's super popular. So let's get this crazy party going some more. with a recommendation from Ed Wilson of the VG Embassy podcast. He recommended that I play something from Summer Carnival 92 Recca. It's a shoot 'em up Famicom game with a pretty awesome soundtrack. I decided to pick HYDE, also known as Stage 2, from that game, and it was composed by Noboyuki Shioda. That was HYDE, also known as Stage 2, from the game Summer Carnival 92 Recca, and it was composed by Nobuyuki Shioda, and it was recommended by Ed Wilson of the VG Embassy podcast. Thank you, Ed. And if you're not familiar with Ed's show, I definitely recommend it. So that's just gonna about do it for the retro songs. So I'm gonna admit the rest of the show it's gonna lean way more towards modern, and definitely within the last like 10 years modern as well. Without further ado, I got something from a real modern classic. It's from Crypt of the Necrodancer. The track is Disco Descent, and it was composed by Danny Baranowsky. That was Disco Descent from the game Crypt of the Necrodancer, and it was composed by Danny Baranowsky. I have no experience with Crypt of the Necrodancer whatsoever, but I have played the Legend of Zelda Crypt of the Necrodancer crossover game, Cadence of Hyrule, and I thought that was a lot of fun, so I definitely need to go back and try out Crypt of the Necrodancer. And I know it's got a really good soundtrack too. I mean, obviously, I just played something from it. That's definitely on my to-do list to play. This next track that I have, it's from the game Syndicate, the 2012 first-person shooter game called Syndicate, which it was like supposed to be like a modern FPS reboot of the classic isometric. I don't want to say strategy game, but that's what I'm going to call it, strategy game of the same name. And yeah, this is an arrangement of the danger theme from that game, which they decided to call the name of this track Syndicate as well. What I'm about to play is called Syndicate from the game Syndicate. It was originally composed by Rusell Shaw, but this arrangement was done by Skrillex, of all people. So let's give that one a listen. That track that we just played, that was Syndicate from the game Syndicate. It was originally composed by Rusell Shaw, and it was arranged by Skrillex. That's gonna just about do it for the show this week. If you liked what you've been listening to, give me a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. And if you want to tell your friends, where to find the show, you have them check out Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, whatever podcatcher that they use. I mean, they could just take the RSS feed and just dump it on there. And if you have any track suggestions, give me an email at avgmjourney@yahoo.com. I will try to reply as soon as I can. And we're going to be going into 2020 with one more track, and that track is from the game Furi. The name of the track is Make This Right, and it was composed by the Toxic Avenger. Have a happy New Year's, everyone. Bye.